Have you ever been in this situation where you care deeply about someone, make the effort, and always check in first? But the more you try, the more distant they become. Hours turn into days, and you start wondering, did I do something wrong? Why do they ignore me when I give them my best? Here's the harsh truth. The people who love you most often ignore you the most. Not because they don't care, but because human nature is wired this way. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology and Stoic wisdom behind this painful paradox. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it happens and how to turn the tables. Lesson number 1. The paradox of familiarity. Why distance creates desire. Imagine buying your dream car. At first, you're obsessed. You admire its sleek design, clean it daily, and take it for drives at all hours. But over time, it becomes just another part of your life. You stop noticing its shine, its leather seats, or the feeling of excitement it once gave you. This happens in relationships too. When someone is always there, their presence becomes predictable, and we unconsciously take them for granted. The very thing we cherish can become invisible. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to be mindful of impermanence. Everything in life is fleeting. When we recognize that someone could be gone at any moment, we naturally appreciate them more deeply. Lesson number 2, love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's found in silence. Not everyone expresses love the same way. Imagine growing up in a home where affection wasn't verbalized, but shown through actions. Your parents may not have said, "I love you," but they provided for you, supported you, and showed care in quiet ways. People express love based on what they've learned. For some, love is loud and verbal. For others, it's quiet and practical. Just because someone is distant or silent doesn't mean they don't care. Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Instead of assuming someone's silence means they don't love you, take a step back. Their way of expressing love may simply be different from yours, and that's okay. After all, love doesn't have to make a sound to be meaningful. Lesson number 3. Ignoring is a test, not a rejection. Sometimes the person who loves you most may distance themselves as a way to test your emotional stability. They want to see how you react. Do you panic and beg for attention, or do you remain composed, unaffected by their silence? Ignoring someone can be an unconscious way to gauge how much they matter to you. It's a test to see if your self-worth is built on a strong foundation, or if it crumbles without their attention. As Marcus Aurelius said, dwell on the beauty of life. Instead of wondering why someone ignores you, focus on building a life so fulfilling that you're too busy to care. When faced with silence, don't let it disturb your peace. By staying calm and unshaken, you show that your worth isn't dependent on their validation. Lesson number 4. Love doesn't need constant reassurance. Have you ever been in a relationship where you feel the need to constantly reassure the other person of your love? You find yourself repeatedly saying, "I love you," or proving it through actions. But have you ever stopped to wonder why this dynamic exists? The root of this need often lies in insecurity. People who crave reassurance fear losing the connection they have. But true love doesn't need constant confirmation. When you trust the relationship, there's no need for endless validation. Seneca teaches that true strength comes from within. If someone truly loves you, their actions will speak louder than words. A strong relationship is built on trust, not on a constant need for reassurance. Lesson number 5. The fear of vulnerability can create distance. Have you ever noticed that the people who care about you the most sometimes pull away when you need them most? This often happens because vulnerability can be terrifying. Opening up to someone means giving them the power to hurt you. Not everyone is prepared for that kind of exposure. Sometimes those who love you retreat because they don't know how to handle their own emotions. They fear hurting you or revealing their own weaknesses in the process. The Stoics believed that emotional resilience is key to growth. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a strength. If someone pulls away, it's often their own fear, not a lack of love. Lesson number 6. Emotional walls are built by fear, not love. The person who loves you most might seem distant because they've built emotional walls. These walls aren't meant to shut you out. They're meant to protect their own vulnerabilities. Fear of rejection, fear of being hurt again. These fears cause people to create barriers, even in the strongest relationships. It's not about pushing you away, it's about shielding themselves from pain. Seneca encourages us to be patient with others. Everyone carries their own fears and insecurities. Instead of taking their distance personally, recognize that they are trying to protect themselves. Approach them with empathy, not frustration, and you may help them tear down their walls. Lesson number 7. Self-reflection, the key to understanding distance. When someone pulls away, it's easy to assume it's about you. Maybe you did something wrong. Maybe they've lost interest. But have you ever considered it from their perspective? Sometimes distance has nothing to do with you. The other person might be going through their own personal struggles. Their withdrawal isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a sign that they need time for self-reflection. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others, but we can control our response. Instead of reacting emotionally, reflect with clarity and objectivity. Sometimes the greatest gift you can offer someone is the space they need to grow. Lesson number 8. Some love is selfish, and that's okay. Not all love is pure. Some people love you not for who you are, but for what you do for them. They only come around when they need something. This is a selfish form of love. It doesn't mean they don't care about you, but their love is conditional. It exists as long as their needs are being met. While we often expect love to be selfless, the reality is that many relationships are transactional. Seneca reminds us that not all love is unconditional, and that's okay. Recognize selfish love for what it is, and don't invest too much of your energy in relationships where love is only given when it's convenient for the other person. Lesson number 9. The more you chase, the more they pull away. Have you ever chased someone's attention only to watch them pull away even more? It's a common paradox. The harder you try to hold on to something, the more it slips through your fingers. Think of a butterfly. If you chase it, it flies away. But if you stay still, it may land on your shoulder. The same applies to relationships. The more you pursue someone for affection or validation, the more they may retreat. The law of reverse effort teaches us that when we stop chasing, we become more valuable in others' eyes. Instead of seeking love, focus on yourself. Stoicism teaches that self-control is true power. When you stop seeking constant validation, you naturally attract respect and admiration. Those meant to be in your life will come to you. Lesson number 10. The most powerful love is the one you give yourself. At the end of the day, the most important love you can receive is the love you give yourself. Love from others is wonderful, but if you don't value yourself first, it will never be enough. When you truly love yourself, you become immune to rejection and disappointment. You stop chasing approval because your self-worth comes from within. This is the greatest power you can possess. The Stoics teach that true strength lies in self-love and acceptance. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When you master the art of self-love, you'll find peace, no matter how others treat you. Remember, love is complex, but wisdom is simple. Choose peace, choose self-respect, and above all, choose yourself. If this video resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe to the Stoic Guide for more life-changing wisdom.